afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dame. We're off here to a episode from the new patch, the March 31st patch here, and we've got some new maps in it. For example, we got right here, Angerville, back from the first company of heroes. Huzzah for those that liked it. So right here, we'll be watching Fortune fighting here for the Soviet Union for the glory of Comrade Stalin, and the 145th Rifle Corps going up here versus Grenadier is tot fighting for Germany, for the Reich Deutschland, and the 23rd Panzer Division. We've got shock rifle, got motor and counter-attack tactics here, infinite bullets all the way versus fair strong armor, mechanized assault and elite troops. The two pioneers start here by the way from Grenadier, opting that way to sort of initially grab more territory, and for some of the pioneers have received some minor buffs themselves. They can now see farther. There's a little thing there. We got conscripts on the way here for Fortune. These versions on the right hand side here, going up towards the farmhouses, whereas his engineers are securing the much more empty farmlands in the west. Pioneers advancing, going into the building right here, just next to the strategic point, opening up there on the conscripts. Of course, the conscripts rarely pull away, rather minimizing the effect of the pioneers. When more conscripts away, the pioneers are rapidly falling back. The Grenadiers moving up, looks like he's just occupying the building until he can get the Grenadiers there. Could there be a Molotov upgrade on the way there for Fortune, maybe to help deal with this? No, nothing like that. Just falling back further and further here. Victory point secured. No player so far has gained a few points since they are a bit further away. A bit more placed towards the mill. We've got conscripts moving up here. We've got pioneers up there, the Grenadiers holding up. They're going for the core point. We've got some pioneers moving towards the west side now. Pioneers under fire from the conscripts, and we've got additional Grenadier there for Grenadiers. Talk more engineers on the way there for Fortune. Has got for 3 conscripts, and now with 2 engineers stay on the way. Grenadiers might have to fall back towards the building before it's too late. And there we go, quickly popping in through the door. Catching all of those conscripts out in the open. Of course, they can quickly take up position, in which case there'll only be 2 Grenadiers sort of able to shoot back at them, meaning they'll have a large advantage there, though of course there will suffer some losses. Pioneers moving in here, having crept through there, going straight at the conscripts. Pioneers moving to the north, forgoing the east point for the time being to focus on the conscripts. Pioneers basically drawing fire. Grenadiers here killing off a few more, at the same time kind of engaging the pioneers versus engineers, both suffering losses. We've got an MG42 on the way for Grenadier is tooled, having itself received some smaller buffs. Well, a notable buff action accuracy. Grenadiers here not doing well. They've still done quite a bit of damage to the conscripts out in the open, but ultimately they are going to get pushed away there. They're simply not going to last that long. So down to 1 man here. Also got the conscripts there forced away. The pioneers themselves were also pushed off. We got the MG4 coming in. It looks like the pioneers on the left side were able to win. So overall, neither side really has a fuel point, but so far looks like Grenadiers going to be the first one with a fuel point here between the two sides. Pioneers getting back here. Victory point being secured. Conscripts moving ahead here. MG42 quickly setting up here to probably deal with it. Not quite well angled up here. Wasn't expecting Pioneer moving up. There we go. Quickly running away. Bit dangerous, of course, to move the MG42 about on its own with nothing to sort of operate with it. Conscripts moving in there. We got Molotovs up now, popping into the building. It's not quite going to work out. The Grenadiers are being engaged by engineers as well. The engineers probably will suffer some losses there to the Grenadier. There we go. Going into the building, but already a Molotov is flying through the front door. Grenadiers there reinforcing fuel point being secured by pioneers. Cut off there being secure as well. Might see both fuel points available then for Grenadier. This planning gone for 20 years, but we've got no early structures there for Fortune, which is what you might expect, but in this case, not. MG42 getting out of the building down to half size. Hasn't really been able to do that much damage yet. Conscripts taking losses. Grenadiers moving up. Other Grenadier unit falling back. 3 Grenadiers, 2 Pioneers, and MG42 so far here for Grenadier. Could you then be taking up, will going for more Grenadiers, or maybe another MG42. And we got some S-mines going up here, right at the crossroads. Not a bad spot to mine in general. I'm maybe seeing a light machine gun somewhere being handed out. Or more mines elsewhere, since it wasn't exactly a huge minefield being made down there. Oh wait, there we go, more mines. Reasonably large. But comes them again, MG42 not quite angled well. In this case, the rushed right past here, getting right behind it. Not so good there, we got the MG40 falling back. Countries here, they were suppressed. That's making easier targets here for the Grenadier. No tech up there, no structural further there from Fortune. He's gone for a field infirmary. Guns there taking some minor losses. Might get the fuel point there, might get the fuel point. And then again, he won't be connecting with it, since again the car point has been secured. We got more mess mines here. In this case, Grenadier basically trying to do as much here with the small narrow space to take advantage of it, so basically make things miserable here for Fortune. There we go. Minefield goes off, killing only one, despite some rather sizable explosions there. And there you go, Counter's bounty rushed right past it. Sama, oh no, gets wiped there on retreat. A harsh loss to Fortune. A small victory there for Grenadier. MD42 gefeckt right again. Bankrupt. Medics on the way there. No tech up though. No tech up. No replacement infantry so far from Fortune. Now he's got the resource, so might he play for Doctrine? I mean, he's got 2 Doctrine, for example, with the Shock Troopers and with Guards Infantry. He could, of course, then go for some League Troops there. Sandbagging right there. Interesting decision by, oh, cheeky Fortune. Blocking in the unit there. Cheeky. Bit naughty. Might want to fix that. Troops are reinforcing. Take up there for Grenadier. Pioneers heading southwards, and we got a demo charge going up there to check the cut-off point. But a Pioneer unit they're lost. Doesn't quite make up for the conscious loss also. And there we go. Got counter-attack. Got shock troopers on the way there for Fortune. Point there being secured. The B4, I believe, has had its veterancy a bit nerfed in some regards. And from Mother Russia has been changed over towards more of an accuracy bonus rather than a direct damage bonus. So it isn't quite as potent either. Though still, of course, potent when well used. Troops moving ahead there. Sandbags cancelled. Looks like we got Grenadier here heading over towards the left-hand side. They're not going to charge right into here, where Fortune could, of course, have prepared a nice defence with buildings, barbed wire, and sandbags if you bothered. Munitions there secured. Left-hand side so far German then. And there you go, more minefields going off, wiping out half the shock trooper unit. Those S-mines are definitely paying off there for Grenadier's taught. And we got a mortar on the way there. Grenadier, he has teched up, but nothing out of that. Then again, there's nothing really necessarily deeply there, maybe except some Panzer Grenadier or something vehicle to deal with the shock troopers. Grenadiers bringing in for the cut-off, straight into the demo charge. Mines up there. A stack of firework Grenadiers moving in. MG42 setting up here to cover, and someone's about to blow up over there. There we go. And almost getting the entire unit inside the building as well. This shock wave there, basically leaving numerous Grenadiers pulverized. A harsh blow there to Grenadiers should give Fortune a good chance of getting back into the proceedings.
Well done,
Very well late demo. Constant, we got there, we got the Grenadier for there. No like to make a nice company as we get here for Grenadier. No sign of Doctrine from either. Grenadiers are finding a way. Could maybe consider that machine gun for some of them, here to help deal with all the conscripts and other bits, in particular from buildings. But no sign of that so far. Engineers rushed off. MG42 not doing much there. And there goes shock troops moving up. Conscripts there combined with them, force away the Grenadiers. All of a sudden, of course, the Grenadiers' Torch infantry is not looking too strong, so he needs to be a bit more careful. Again, light machine guns that would help overcome things a bit there. Not like to make a company, not quite yet. And still, oh, there we go. Finally got a building up there. Support weapon company out. Up for Fortune. Or Fortuna. And there we go. Shock troop was caught here by the MD42. Doing a bit of damage there, suppressing. Bit of smoke grenade there covers things up. He creeps forwards here. Smoke them up well. Oh, something went off. Looks like a mine went off on the mortar crew. Pulls back here. Got a scout car on the way there for Grenadier's Talk, which has actually received a health buff. We got the... Oh, there's a trip mine there that went off on the mortar crew member. Got a field gun on the way there for Fortune, probably to win any vehicles that might arrive. Plus, of course, the fuel advantage Grenadiers had, of course, one of the could be, of course, he could also rush for some armor himself, in which case a field gun, of course, would have been quite helpful. But 221 heading down there. Shock troopers, engineers, and there we go, lightest machine gun up there. Shock troops there taking heavy fire. forced to fall away. Something went kaboom, I'm not entirely sure what. Oh no, some mortars. We got a mine going down there in the middle of the road there for Fortune. Good job, mortar forced away. In the point there, we got the scout car shifting towards the right hand side, even as the mine there has been finished. Another Grenadier squad there with Grenadier. Looks like he's not opting for Panzer Grenadier, at least not yet. Field gun there arrives. He could consider, of course, some support weapons further, maybe a Maxim or a mortar to help deal there with Grenadier's talks early game. And there you go, scout cars with Grenadiers engaging the conscripts, sorting them away. And there we go, mines as well then to deal with any remaining S-mines there from Grenadier. Good, good. Got the 2-2-2 up there now for Grenadier versus Fortune. Conscripts falling back, nothing further here, anything from the base of Fortune. Points have been continued to secure. We got the MD42 coming here. And Conscripts there under fire here from the 2-2 Grenadiers joining in. They're not going to be able to hold out long. The shrubbery will not provide much of an almighty defense there versus the Third Reich. CoH2 moving ahead here. The scout car will definitely be needed to deal with them. The Grenadiers there won't stand much of a chance one-on-one without a light machine gun at all. They're going to bring up straight to the light machine gunners here. Losses inflicted. Scout car not moving in to deal with them, in fact falling back here a bit as well. Mortar firing away. Looks like a unit has been wiped out. There are actually 4. Mr. Fortune looks like a conscript there was wiped out, maybe a rifle grenade or a mortar round, not entirely sure either way. He lost a unit. Engineers versus Pioneers there, very close engagement there. Pioneers almost wiped out, but so the Engineers for that matter. Mortar gave a bit of an edge there. He could of course take up further. I mean, he's got plenty of fuel there, plenty of manpower, so a quick rush there for maybe a Panzer IV, a flak Panzer right now could work out well. Additional Engineers there for Fortune. He's keeping a rather low infantry count. He's also got a bit of manpower and a bit of fuel. Take up right now could maybe work out, or maybe getting out some more infantry. Support weapons would also work well. And there we go. Getting a mortar now. Briefly a field gun, then looks like he decided against it, and against some light artillery zone. Got the MD42 setting up here. The Grenadier squad coming the one there, though not really that well. Basically, more if an assault goes up for there to try and flank. They're going to encounter some resistance. More S-minefield sounds like it went off. But CoH2 was there pushing ahead. Scout car there in dire need repairs. Lights flickering. He's running up, minesweepers moving about here. A few mines in there could maybe help protect versus a further assault there from Grenadier. We've got a nice chunk of the map here so far. Not quite veterans one there so far. Grenadier's rather been not having that much luck with his MD42 and partly then afterwards basically been keeping it, well, just for more defensive purposes. Rather than has been able to show off as much as new level of veterancy there. Well, experience or accuracy. Accuracy, there we go. They just gained with a patch. CoH2 was now moving ahead. We got a Pack 40 on the way there for Grenadier to help deal with any potential armor. In fact, we got a tank for tank command going up there for Fortune, adding in some armor of his own here to the battle to slay the fascist. But 2-2 moving ahead. There we go, engaging the shock troopers. Mortar rounds laying down there. Oh, if they hadn't moved because of that, they probably would have been wiped out. No tech up there though. Keine Panzer. Mortar rounds going down there on the Pioneers. One kill there for the Third Crew. Field gun flying away there. Almost got the scout car. And there we go. Field gun knocks it out. An armor piercing round puts it out of its misery. Pioneers moving up. He could deal with the conscripts. Mortar advancing up further, hiding behind the building here. Good job. Could maybe try and mortar the enemy's mortar. That seems to be what he's doing there. Blowing up some trees in the process though. And Pioneers holding off with the conscripts. Conscripts running straight into the flamethrower here. And there's something he's basically running around in circles here to sort of try and minimize the effect there for the flamethrower. Of course, he'll take damage and certainly has a hard time getting off some shots himself. Bit cheeky there. Pioneers there healing up. No tech up. Grenadiers holding about there. MG42 still there. Veterans one for the Grenadier. Engineers pushing ahead again. Certainly a lot of action here on the right hand side of the map. Engineers forced away, and there we go, taking out at the same time. We got a T-34-76 there running for Fortune. Yes, close to being able to kill, just waiting and calling in a K1 instead, and then could always follow up maybe with a half-check or something else to support the KV1. But it looks like he's going for the T-34-76 in the first place. Does of course have more speed, of course that might be what he's opting for, rather than the sluggish but sturdy KB1.
Combat engineers can now deploy B4 super heavy artillery guns.
B4's available, of course, KB1 as well there. Still no doctrine there from Grenadier. Mortar crew reinforcing, Grenadier's holding up. There goes shock troops, bringing it straight to the Grenadier. Straight into mine though, pretty much ruining their chances of holding off the shock troopers even remotely. Pioneer force flanking in there, Grenadier's joining in. Fortune counter-attacking, counters from the south, running straight into the Pioneers field, going up really near, and there we go. T-34-76 immobilized. Tech is done there. He can set up the support armor corps if he wants, or he can try and take on for heavy panzer corps instead of aim for a Panther there versus Fortune. But the Pioneers there on the run. There's a shock troops advance through the quaint farm locale. Heavily armed with PPH-41s and body armor. The body armor though really could only stop about a 9mm bullet from a pistol. Not really say capable of stopping an assault rifle bullet or say a rifle bullet. But there you go, little fun fact. Advancing there. Support corps going up there, rushing it with both Pioneer units working on. That's definitely going to get it up much faster. It can also allow much faster, say, getting some armor out then. Good choice there by Grenadier. Sandbags up here. More light machine guns. In fact, he's got 3 Grenadiers, 7 light machine guns. T-34 fires away, almost crushing the sandbags, so hard work. There we go, smoke grenade again. The M40 won't be able to do much then. Grenade through the smoke, and they're going before 2 rushed off. In fact, close to getting wiped out there. Barely makes it. Barely makes it. That was rather close there for Grenadier. Panther 4 is already available. Of course, you could also go for flak Panthers or Stooks. Considering there's a T-34 in the field, a Panther 4 or a pair of Stooks would certainly be a better choice than a flak Panther.
We are losing a sector.
Shock troops there taking light losses. Panzer come fighting on the way there. Meanwhile, the assault continues up the right flank. Doing his best here to cut off a lot of Grenadier's sorts resources there. Not bad, not bad. In this case, rapidly denied by German arms and courage. And we've got a B4 here being added for Fortune, adding in some serious artillery there to blow the fascists apart. Firing straight at the headquarters here. Probably trying to catch some infantry reinforcing. In this case, they shot a bit too far. Rather ruining it there, going to Fortune, going into the fight here, quickly cutting down some conscripts. Almost veterans one there. Few more shots, and there we go. Veterans running, send the armor piercing rounds up. Pioneers moving ahead as well, and there we go. Panzer campaign here, mobilized for the 23rd Panzer Division. And there we go. T-34 moving in, getting a Pioneer there with a shot. Pack 4 ready to join in. Grenadier's almost wiped out there by a mortar fire here from Fortune, gaining veterans 1. Almost ready 2 already, by the way. Panzer 4 moving ahead to deal with things on the left flank, it seems. Not going to contend here with the T-34 for the time being. Pack 40 there. Not sending out apparently some mortar fire, something that's making Grenadier a bit sketchy. Either way, he's pulling it back. Not getting off a single shot there. Versus the T-34 back. Now when it's too late, the crew there wiped out by the T-34. Not so well handled. We got a T-70 now following up here for Fortune. Going to focus on hunting down infantry. Could work, but with the Panther 4 in the field course right now, might be a bit more tricky. And apparently, what might have suggested instead waiting for the KB1, but there you go. Almost got the Pack 40. We got the Panther 4 there arriving. Getting off a good shot there was the T-34. Meanwhile, T-70 hitting with the Grenadiers on the left flank. Almost got them wiped there. But 3 men does manage to get away there, though, with only a sliver of health. The T-70, of course, could still get them. But not quite, not quite. Very close there for Grenadier. In fact, they were very close there, I think they'll rather told. Got another Panzer 4 there already here for Grenadier. The fuel advantage he's had so far in this fight, rather than helping him there, sort of just getting more armor. And Fortune hasn't really done anything to sort of give him a slightly even fuel advantage, at least to minimize the one that Grenadiers had by saying maybe getting a fuel cache.
You guys, listen to me if you want to live.
Panzer 4 halfway ready.
Our opponent
Bit of that shooting there. Of course, a bit worried here with the aerial reconnaissance, and of course that means there's going to be a good chance of B4 getting off a good hit, knocking out anything. We're getting up some units wiped here. There we go. And there you go, second Panzerkampfwagen here, mobilized for Grenadier. Could consider maybe using his doctrine there to actually train them up a bit, get them some veterans faster. And there we go, in fact, he did it, he did it. This Panzer IV is almost veterans in one already. Nicely done there. Some players do neglect using elite troops to, use training at all. So a bit there. He could, of course, consider using some stun grenades there. No room for T-43s, though. Of course, there's still smoke. Forcing in, they got the Elite 42 supporting the advance of the Grenadiers and Pioneers, catching the comes in a rather severe hailstorm of bullets. Meanwhile, though, Fortune sticking in here. Cassius, support position, sandbags. Panzer IV, T-34 moving in here. Straight to the Panzer IVs. Of course, one option here for Grenadier is actually to try and rush the Panzer, or the B4 there with this Panzer IV and knock it out in short order. In fact, it's time here for the mid-game analysis counter situation here. In terms of map control, Grenadiers actually got an advantage there versus opponents. He's also got, well, they actually got more or less in terms of population the same size of force, but in terms of armor, he's got the advantage over two Panzer IVs versus a T-34, 76 and a T-70. On the other hand, the artillery advantage is definitely with Fortune with the Veteran 2 mortar and the B4 howitzer. That definitely poses a potential problem there for Grenadier if he's not careful. Right now, though, for Grenadier, of course, one option is go for maybe a Stu or to support maybe a Flak Panzer trying to aim for a Panzer IV more, in which case a fuel cache here and there could help him up a bit. Getting some Panzer Grenadier maybe could work out. Of course, just saving up resources to keep training up the Panzer IV so they can as quickly as possible hit veterans of 3. That could also be a rather interesting idea there for Grenadier's tool if he wants to pursue it. But nice job here by all. He seems to be sort of trying to swing in here through, not just trying to barge through here the central position. That is good. That is good. One option it could be trying to do with the armor, try to break through here and sort of sweep up there. We'll try to get the B4 howitzer, in which case if we were to do that, that would be pretty good for him. A few mines here and there could work out pretty well as well. But overall, trying to launch an attack from here, sort of trying to hit Fortune as many points as possible is probably going to be the wise idea for Fortune. I mean, he's a bit under pressure. He's getting some munition caches, which could of course mean more mines. He definitely needs more mines to try and slow down any assault there from Grenadier. Mining up approaches, he could definitely pay off, catch any panzers there, and thus making them easier targets for the B4 would certainly work out pretty well. Another field gun would be good with all the panzers on the way, to say the least. Maybe a K1 then sort of follow things up, but a fuel cache I think would also be a good choice there for Fortune. Sort of keep things a bit more running smoothly in terms of armor. Otherwise, he's sort of trying to be a bit more aggressive towards you. In that case, I might try to maneuver the Panzer IVs into a trap in the initial place and knock them out. But there you go. Let's return to the fight here. The Panzer IVs breaking through here. Shot down, the missile bounce off. Before the fire, getting ready to fire, but not quite there. Panzer IVs continue, taking shots there from the T-54. Field gun sending up there. Panzer IV taking a hit there down to half health. Blitzkrieg on there for the more damage. Panzer IV almost got it. T-70 knocked out. T-70 knocked out. Mortar crew in trouble as well. There you go. Veterans 1 for the Panzer IV. The other one very close to Veteran 2. Another Blitzkrieg there to help escape. Bit of an interesting armoured assault here, armoured raid, if you will, from Grenadier's tool. So not something I've seen in a long time. Very nice there. Swinging through here in between the base. Causing a bit of havoc there. Forcing away support weapons and getting a T-70 light tank. Catching the shock troopers here with a rather nice volume of fire as well there from the Panzerkampfwagens. Good use there overall of his doctrine. Overall good use of abilities. One almost fit here, two on the one some time away, but again, with a bit of troop training, in fact, both of them could very quickly get Veteran T2 if we wanted. Of course, there's just going to be one problem right now, and that's keeping them all safe, because I'm pretty sure with the tanks in that state, he's going to try and call in some reconnaissance and try to catch them with the B4 and knock them out while they're being repaired. And of course, on a map like this, the B4 has quite the reach. I mean, he basically needs to get them all the way, I think, up here for them to actually be safe from a B4 shot. And that's until if, say, hits Veteran T3, in which case you can't hide on Angerville. And that was also one thing about Angerville back in the first game. it was a very good map for artillery overall, since well positioned howitzer it could pretty much reach most, if not all, of the map. There we go, getting Panzer Force repaired there. Shifting about nonetheless, just in case a shot flies off there. He's taking no chances there with Fortune. Sensible, sensible. There you go, B4 shoots. As soon as he hears it, gets away there. Not sure that was a guess or what. They are just some predictions based on what he saw before the aircraft was shot down. Unfortunately, not the best position. Still gets off some damage. Ultimately being forced away though. Panzer IV, they're almost ready. He could actually now get another Panzer IV if he wanted. There you go. That gets a third one. And the T-34 is actually veteran to 2. So that's been doing reasonably well as well here versus Fortunate's Panzers. Shock troop here, swings to the Grenadiers. Getting a bit of nice there shade from the sun with the light machine guns. T-34 moves in though, and there's no shade from its shots. Mortar needs to get away. He's getting another T-70 there. Very interesting to sort of see one insistent on T-34 T-70 combo. With that many Panzers on the field though, I'm not entirely sure that's a wise idea there from Fortune. You should at least get out some more regular Panzers and field guns before you add in another T-70, I would say. Of course, the 2 Panzer Force, including one there, so close to VC2. I don't think a T-70 right now, with only one T-34 to really support in a field gun, is the wisest of choices. Once they're setting up positions. There we go, veteran to 2. Shirts up, 3rd Panzer IV arrives. Got conscripts routing in. B4 could be ready to shoot up now. Shoot the Ultra actually. I think he's trying to get to catch units by the base. Good lord, so much infantry there wiped out. Several Grenadiers, I think some Pioneers were lost too. At least the mortar crew there almost wiped out. A rather crippling blow there. That was, I believe, 2 Grenadier squads with light machine guns annihilated. That's going to hurt Grenadiers took quite a bit. There's a bit of trouble there with the T-70. Panzer fast off. He could still just be wiped out. That would actually mean all of his infantry wiped out. Pack 45 got the T-34. He needs to pull back though. And he's going to need some Pioneers to repair the damaged Panzer IV here, so he can get back in the fight as quickly as possible. But at this page, I mean, it's going to be rather obvious for Grenadier. He needs to deal with the B4 before it conducts too much harm. In fact, gaining veteran 2 there. And this one could maybe actually benefit from being pulled back to the base for a bit of troop training and get it up to veteran 2. We of course have to see if that is what he does, but I would certainly recommend another B4 shot here. Knocking out something maybe, I'm not entirely sure. I think it was a bunker. Looks like it. And there we go. Troop training again, in fact, to get a Panzer IV up to veteran 2. Good job there, good job. Troop training used of 2 different Panzer IVs. Now both of them are to veteran 2. Probably notably faster than they otherwise would have been, and that's definitely going to help Grenadiers talked out here a bit here versus the tanks. Field gets another bit, and there we go, mining up there. It took him a bit longer there than maybe anticipated initially. He's definitely going to make any rush from here against the B4 much harder, and that's definitely what he needs to do. MD42 then be up top to T-34 firing rate. And there you go, training up in the 3rd Panzer IV. Good job. Really nice use there of troop training on the Panzers. There we go, shock to trouble there with the Panzerkampfwagen. Smoke grenade down there to cover, though of course they can attack around, of course they will be spotted or hit it. There we go, shock troopers taking a mighty pummeling there. In fact, almost getting wiped down. In fact, they might get wiped. There we go. In fact, shock troopers completely annihilated. It's named as the Third Reich. We got mines being spotted by mines. Good job. There seems like he might be playing something there. Oh, shot there, missed. Panzer falling in, but taking heavy hits off the field guns and the T-34. Blitzkrieg going in. Good job. Good job getting past here. The field guns. Excellent, but hitting a mine there. Panzer IV kaput. Field gun crew took a bit of damage. Panzer IV continues. The other Panzer IV might want to set in as well there. He's going straight for the B4. Going straight for the B4. Other Panzer IV, what is he doing with it? He's not going for it, he's going to attack into here. Looks like, while other Fortune's attention is on the Panzer IV, striking his B4 is going to use the other Panzer IV to strike into the flank of the pursuit forces. Good job there, good job there. Catching the field gun and the T-70 here with the Panther 4 number 2. This Panther 4, the close effects for fleet, but also close to total annihilation. Popping smoke here on the B4 to try and cover it up. Good job, but nonetheless he attacks around here, knocking out the B4, denying an artillery piece. Field gun knocked out. T-70 about to get knocked out by the Panther 4 as well. And there we go, a complete wreck. Quite an exchange there. 2 Panther 4s down, but he got a field gun and a T-70. And he got the B4. He still got one veteran 2 Panther 4, but on the other hand, the T-34-76 is almost veteran 3. Popping smoke there, pulling back the Panzerkampfwagen. MG-42 in a rather full position, needs to go away. They're closing in on veteran 2 though. KV-1 available, will he go for that? Will he try something else here? It would certainly give him a more immediate armor advantage there versus Fortune with a more heavy armored tank and just have 2 tanks, more to do there, taking the munitions department, quick commanding their attention on the T-34-76. Not really a lot of attempt here from Fortune, sort of harass and take away territory from the left hand side. He might want to consider digging up some engineers there. Consequently, when exchange to the Grenadiers here, taking losses. Got the Panther 4 there on the hunt for the T-34. KV-1 arrives here for Fortune. KV-1, Clement Borishlov. And there we go, Veteran D3 for the T-34, increasing mobility and rate of fire further. And there we go though, Panther 4 gets a good hit halfway to Veteran D3. Almost got it there, Pack 40 joining in. And we've got target weak point available. Yeah. Meanwhile, K1 advances. K1 shoots, fails to penetrate the front line there. The Panther comes back here, pulled back. Pack 40 here could shoot a target weak point there, heat round into the K1. That would probably be a good idea, would also stun it. Shot bounced off, field gun firing in there, trying to maybe catch the Panther 4. Panther 4 shot also bounces off the front line of the K1. Pioneers here clearing out the field gun with MP40s and flamethrowers. Fortune's bleeding out a bit there. T-34 doing what it can to cover, so is the mortar. Halfway to Veteran T3. And got constant flanking in there. Panther 4 heavily damaged. Molotov on the Pack 40. Might want to consider getting up some more infantry. Panzer Grenadier could work well, but looks like Grenadiers right now aiming actually for a Tiger race. Eventually maybe finish this off with a bit of style. Pack 40 there wrecked actually. I think that might have been a misclick, or he was actually trying to attack the conscripts, attack ground. Couldn't see it of course due to the smoke, so hit instead. Oh well, either way. Close eventually fleet, but still heavily damaged. Grenadiers MG-42 forced away. So T-34 needs repairs. We've got the K1 moving ahead there. Mortar crew needs to fall back. There we go. Tiger arrives, loading up a heat round, and there we go, stunning the KV-1, leaving it no chance of escaping here. One more shot, and that's going to be good tonight. No, shot the crew. He's got his mortar cut there. He could try and lay down a smoke screen to cover the K1. That would probably be his best chance, but no, too late. Too late. Otherwise, would have said that probably be his best chance of escaping there, but looks like he's having a bit too fast there for Fortune. Now he's laying down a smoke screen. Probably to cover the infantry there versus, well, from the Tiger Race, so maybe it was a delayed reaction. It was supposed to happen earlier, but for some reason it bugged up. In which case, that was certainly quite unfortunate there for Fortune. Certainly seems to have glitched a bit there, maybe, I don't know.
The sector is at risk.
T-34 pulling back. Fortune in a bit of an abyss right now. He's pretty much lacking in field guns and the like. Staying with charge there, spotted. And wrecked. Panther 4 effects right as well. A lot of amount of infantry there for him. And Fortune actually decides to go for a second B4. Bit of a bold decision there. But adding in more heavy artillery here to deal with the fascists between the wreckage of the previous B4 and the Panther 4 that wrecked the B4. A bit defined there, maybe. Who knows? Grenadier sort here, tightening the grip.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
The barns up here on the left flank. CoH2 advancing in close to Vector. We got the munitions cache here being dealt with by the Tiger Race. Completely wrecked, and these V-Force are able to T-34 17 kills. 25 kills on the Panzer IV, which is not quite Veteran T3, not quite. One good shot though on the T-34, and that should probably do the trick. Or of course pulling it back from troop training with that little experience left, I'm not entirely sure that it would be worth it at all. If anything, quite the opposite. In particular, the Tiger Race already on the way in resources at even further premium than they normally are. There you go, Country on fire here from the Panzerkampfwagen here. Machine gun fire and high-closure shells flying above and into them. The Tiger Race is sneaking up there. Bit bold, they continue their previously mines there. T-34 moves in, gaining the mortar crew. Panzer getting some good hits on the conscripts. Almost got Veteran 3 there. Almost. Still a sliver experience to go there. Tiger Race gets off hit on the T-34. No field gun for anything there. B4 trying to set up the other thing to hit the Tiger Race. Direct hit on the Tiger Race, down to less than half health. Panther 4 almost 30 kills. And there we go, Veteran 3 increased rate of fire, increased mobility. Meanwhile the Tiger Race continues here. Veteran 2 by the way for it. Too bad the cooldown wasn't a bit faster there. He laid down a smoke screen though, but still attacked through ground here. A nice attempt there by Fortune, a nice attempt. But ultimately in vain as the Tiger Race sends high close around after high close around into it. Ensuring that there is no remains there. Panzer 4 hits a mine here. Panzer 4 hits a mine to this side, so it's opening up in the Tank Command nonetheless. Shot after shot there, rapidly loaded off by its expert loader, Dietrich. Got the ace moving up here. Smoke screen laid down here to cover it up. Can still attack round though. Palmer would say it would probably better off if you charge right in front of the Panzer 4. Instead, we've got a field gun moving up here. It's a problem company getting out more field guns here, but will it be in time? Tank Command down. Showing up in the ace. Panzer 4 could be in trouble. Ace isn't in trouble. Mine there close by, but thanks to the Pioneers, can sweep it. Smoke screen laid down there. I'm not entirely sure it's laying it down there. He actually ends up covering up for Grenadier's tank. But I'm sure Grenadier is quite thankful for that. Ja, danke for covering up so that he doesn't mind Panzer, so I wouldn't have to waste my precious munitions. Still, both tanks are a bit dinged up there. Not quite as bad as Fortune's forces at the moment.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
Fort Nebbing secured. And we got fresh Pioniere. Could maybe quickly pull them up here for some troop training. Get them to Veteran T3 first to help speed up the repairs. And there we go. Good job. Good job. Sending back repairing both Panzers at the same time. Veteran T3 Pioneers working on the Panzer 4, while you Veteran 2 of them working with, of course, the Tiger Race.
Enemy is taking our territory.
Got a Grenadier with a machine gun carrying things up there. Hey, machine gun back at base. Not really good there for Fortune. His only last option might be another KV-1, and that's going to be rather limited there of use. He's got 2 field guns though, which if well utilised could certainly do a bit of damage there versus say the Tiger Race and the Panzer IV if you can catch them in the right spot. But beyond that, not a lot else to report here at the moment. Almost got those Grenadier. Again, mortar firing away. Fortune's Veteran mortar doing what it can. Well, there you go, Panzer moving in again. Panzer Ace. Meanwhile, the Tiger Race is dealing with the conscious up there. Oh, good hook hit there. Driving up most of them in there from the cover. With that completely annihilating them. Fortune's options seem increasingly limited at the moment. Bit of a duel here between mortars. The Granatenwerfer seems to be losing out here quite largely. Unfortunately not. We got a KO on there. Number 2 arriving here for Fortune in an attempt to maybe turn things around. It seems increasingly unlikely he will be able to do so. At this point, he's probably lost too much to really have a chance there. Versus this Panzer IV Tiger Ace combo, and we almost got 40 kills there on the Panzer IV, the heavy gun. In fact, Ace joins in. Fugo crew there heroically trying to knock it out, but it's not quite working. And there you go, Fortune surrenders. Game over, a loss here for the Soviet Union, a victory for Deutschland, a victory on Angerville. So there we go, first match of the new patch. We got to see a part of the sort of new things here, though not really that heavily. The most we got to see really of the new things from the patch is basically the new map, and that was certainly interesting, certainly opened up some interesting dynamics. They were basically charging in one side of the base and then rushing out the other side of it. Rather interesting, and I think overall Grenadier basically played the map better than Fortune did. Fortune was a bit too sort of concerned with one part of the map, thus opening up for Grenadier basically using the other side of the map for more aggressive operations, striking into the base and causing quite a bit of havoc from time to time against Fortune. So nicely done there by Grenadier's tool. Also got use of his panzers, got use of the troop training. I would like to see some stun grenades, but you know, can't have everything I suppose. Fortune, make good use of the shock troopers. Well, just recon and the B4. I would like to have seen from Mother Russia. I think that could actually give them good edge here and there against Grenadier's tool, but that never quite happened. But otherwise, you know, good use of his doctrine as well. I think some more field guns or some more mines at the right place, I think, could also done quite a bit there for Fortune versus Grenadier's tool. But ultimately, I hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned something from it. I hope it gave some ideas from matches. If you did, want to subscribe, tell your friends, share it with everyone. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers and thank you all for watching. Bye.